The first thing you should know is that the United States is a giant country. It is almost as big as the whole of Europe. To give you an idea, it takes about 6 hours to fly from one coast to the other, and there are several time slots. For example, on the East Coast, New York, it is 3 hours more on the West Coast, San Francisco. As you can imagine, it's hard to generalize in such a huge place. Each of the 50 states is endowed with unique personalities, landscapes, and even laws. We always say that each state is like a small country, and that is something you should keep in mind when traveling to the United States. To understand the map of the United States a little better, it is useful to note that the country is divided into 4 regions. Northeast, it is a region where cities like New York, Boston, or Philadelphia are located. This is where the first Europeans settled, and it is an area step in history, both colonial and Native American. Beyond these big cities, it is also an area of forest, mountains, lakes, and beautiful coastline. Midwest, despite the word West in its name, the region occupies the central United States to the north, with cities like Chicago. Its states are known for industry and agriculture, producing food, crops, and a staple to the American diet as corn. South, the south of the United States extends from the east coast to the country to the center, with cities such as New Orleans, Houston, Miami, or Nashville. The South is often divided in 2 zones. The Southeast, marked by the history of slavery and the American Civil War, and the Central South, with vast expanses, more arid landscapes, and the fate of banishment by the Indian nations of the East. West, finally, there is the west of the United States, with cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle, or Las Vegas. It is an area of contrast, of mountains, coasts, and spectacular natural landscapes, but also of states as populous as California. If you prefer to travel to the United States without having to rent a car or move too much, you can focus your time on the city and its surroundings. These are our favorites. New York? What a surprise, right? But of course, our city had to be at the top of the list. Whether you have 5 days or 15, in New York you will not be bored for a second. Search for hotels in New York. Chicago? Skyscrapers, architecture, and giant pizza. What more can you ask of a city? New Orleans, Louisiana. From the balconies and bustle of the French Quarter to the cemeteries full of legends, the birthplace of jazz is another city that has us in love. Search for hotels in New Orleans. San Francisco, California. Infinity Slopes, Alcatraz Prison, the Golden Gate Bridge. San Francisco is an essential city. Search for hotels in San